Hello, welcome back. I am Lady Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Darkside. Rants. Maybe rants. Who the fuck knows? It could be rants. Hot from the other side, but it's definitely something. Happy January. Happy New Year. I have a few articles. A couple that I'm going to do in this one that is based on Nosferatu. And we're going to see, we've had almost, well, by the time this comes out, it'll be 3 weeks since the movie was released, cinematic release. And let's see what people are saying about it, because they're still talking about it. And they're talking about it in a positive way. You know how I feel about positive, it's not even just a positive reaction or a positive review, because reviews haven't really been out from what I've seen, or people going on about it. But they just keep fixating on how Bill Skarsgård is this and that. Now, we love Bill, but we just don't like him when he remakes things. His horror stopped at Hemlock Grove, and I don't think he should do any more, but that's just my opinion. So let's get the disclaimer out of the way. We are full of so much adult content that some of you think this isn't necessary, some of you think this isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out, but I'll say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, the regular scheduled programme will continue. Shall we get started? Now we're ready. So, as I said, we have a few articles that have been talking about Nosferatu. And I'm going to read this one. This one's actually from the 8th of January, which was a few days ago for me. So, it's the New Statesman, Culture and Film and blah blah blah. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, a spooky but oddly cool take on the vampire story. Now, if you weren't aware, Nosferatu isn't fluffy, because he's in fact a fucking vampire. So, for all its sexual tension, they look like they've all got constipation and they really need to take something to compensate for poo being trapped. But hey, deadly serious tone can have an unintentionally comic effect. Yes, it's called dark humour. Sarcasm, dark humour. You really think horror movies can't have a dark humour about them? Okay. Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, the dark shadow of a long-fingered hand, looms over the fictional German port town of Wisborg. Now, long-fingered hand. Hello. It's a chilling, striking shot, an aerial view of twinkling, snow-dusted houses, the ugly threat of a monster's grasp hand gliding overhead. It sounds intriguing, don't you think, audience? Conjuring atmosphere is something that Eggers, the American horror director behind The Witch, The Lighthouse and The Northman, now seen The Lighthouse, and no one wants to see Robert Pattinson in anything. He's as intimidating as a chocolate fire garden. His reimagining of the 1922 German silent film by F. Du Marneau, itself a barely disguised and distinctly unauthorised reimagining of Bram Stoker's 19th century novel Dracula, isn't scary exactly. Even its moments of gore and grossness are studied and artful, but it is spooky. There is a constant low hum of dread palpable as Nicholas Holt's Thomas Hunter waits for a horse-drawn carriage in the middle of the night of the empty road flanked by trees, snow falling gently as the carriage door slowly swings. The year is 1838 and Thomas, a contract lawyer and an estate agent, is en route to secure the in-person signature of Count Orlok, Bill Skarsgård, a shadowy potential buyer who lives deep in the Carpathian Mountains. Thomas's beautiful, sylph-like new wife, Ellen, who is played by Lily Rose Depp, remains at home, but only a glimpse of her picture before Orlok decides to risk it all. In Nosferatu, unlike in Dracula, sunlight will turn a vampire at its centre to dust. Well, not really. Not really. I've already said this. Dracula controls his environment, and in Dracula, he walks about in London during the day because it's overcast, because he has controlled the weather. He has controlled the atmosphere. He's never uncovered. He's always covered. And that is the thing. So, again, whatever. In Nosferatu, it's like sunlight will turn a vampire to its centre to dust. And so, although Orlok ordinarily keeps strict nighttime hours, he journeys as a stowaway on a ship to meet his would-be lover, bringing a plague of rats with him for good measure. Character names are changed. Theatre legend Simon McBurney is fun as Hare Knock, a raving pigeon chomping Renfield analogue, and some of their roles merged or slightly are awkward, but Stoker's plot stays mostly intact. So basically, they've changed the narrative to suit whatever Eggers wants to do. That sounds about right. Trying to make it different, yet make it the same. Whatever. A Transylvanian vampire lustily pursues a fragile brunette, breathing the risk of sex, infection, and unknowable foreign evil all over the city. Now, if you remember, Dracula has Mina, love interest, They spoke about it in Dracula Untold as well. It was more of, their souls will always meet. Their souls will always meet. But the thing is, when they do eventually meet each other, everything, it's like destruction and chaos for love. And Dracula will do anything for Mina, no matter what body she is in, and her soul is there. Like energy being, reused and stuff like that. They will always find her. But when he finds his love, he can't be with her and he always loses her. It's like this catch-22 of being able to live forever. But he doesn't get to live forever with his love. He gets to see her die, usually brutally, and he has to watch. So the love story is a wee bit different, it seems. People seem to forget that there is a fucking love story in Dracula, but yeah. Orlok tortures Ellen with erotic, vaguely threatening dreams that trigger breathy moans and bodily convulsions so worryingly orgasmic. Her babysitters, Frederick and Anna Harding, played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Emma Corrin, respectively, send for the local doctor. Now, if someone is having sex dreams, why would you phone the doctor? You just leave her to it, would you fucking not? Shame on you. Never mind the fact that she speaks of being haunted by similar dreams since puberty, meaning she has a connection to this thing, and they never thought that, that was odd. Whatever. She needs her husband. Yeah, she needs a little bit more than that. She needs her husband to give her something, it seems. She needs her husband, Anna says. But the quick fix is literally repression. They lace her into a corset, shackle her to a bed, and drug her. And again, she just sounds like she needs to get her hold, to be honest. So they not only disturb her by telling her our dreams are wrong, because our minds take us to where we want to fucking be when we're dreaming, because we're fucking relaxed usually. So therefore, if she's making moans and stuff, she's obviously want to fucking be there. When she starts like freaking the fuck out that it's a bad thing and maybe screaming and maybe being violent in her sleep, but they've decided to chain her to her bed and drug her. And it sounds more like she is being held captive more than she's having a nice sexy dream. And again, chaining her to a bed, she might fucking like that. So, and drugging her, she might fucking like that too. But hey, it was the 1800s and they fucking didn't understand. But see, if a guy was having dreams like that, they wouldn't give a fuck. But a woman, but hey. Not being sexist, it's because of the time. 1800s is a different time, but hey. William Dafoe's disgraced professor and a cult expert understands the state. Can't you see she is cursed? No, she's not. She's having a sex dream. Shut the fuck up. Willem Dafoe needs to... I'm sorry, I love Willem Dafoe, but come on, Eggers. Really? Really? It's matter of factly. No, it's no. She's had a fucking sex dream and you chained her to a fucking bed and drugged her. Shut the fuck up. The setup is kind of funny. A sex-starved, oh my god, young woman is drawn to a moneyed count, saying she's a clout-chasing sex addict, basically, they've said here, is drawn to, basically, the count who can access her inner desire in a way that her estate agent husband, a self-described pauper, never could. So they're saying because he's poor, he couldn't give it to her? Holy shit. He's all too quick to rush off on a 6-week trip and constantly worrying about the wrong things. I think their Mina may have that Sleeping Beauty, that Sleeping Beauty thing. Maybe she just jumps on top of him and wants to have sex with him and he's fucking scared of that. Maybe he doesn't want a dominant woman, but he's got a dominant woman, it seems, and knows what she wants and she's being told she can't. As I said before, they are shaming and most likely she would have a high sex drive from how they've described her. So not only have they said that her husband can't do it for her because she's been dreaming about someone else her entire life, she can't just think of the person while she's, think of this entity that she's having the dreams about while she's having sex. Okay, so again, shame, saying that all these things about her, again, it's another shame tactic. And shame for having a sex drive, shame for having needs and wants, likes, desires. So marrying the first person and then saying she's cursed and chained at her bed. Yeah. Holtz Thomas is pale, sweaty, and basically impotent. So, she's married apparently a poor guy who can't get it up. Poor guy, man. He's tried to make himself better and he's now got the yin-yang effect. Now he can't fucking get it up. I'd rather be poor and be able to get it up than have all the money in the world and not be able to enjoy myself. Put it that way. He's all too quick to rush off for a 6-week trip and constantly worrying about the wrong things. What wrong things are they? Maybe she just doesn't do it for him. You ever thought about that? How they used to try and marry people off by a certain age but they don't do anything for each other? I wouldn't be surprised because lots of people got married and it wasn't even for love back then. It was all to do with connections. Still like that in some places, by the way. But yes, it's still like that. But hey, however, Orlok, on the other hand, emits a horny energy so powerful it sends shiver down Ellen's spine from across time and space because they're connected to each other. What the fuck? When the two are finally confronted with another, she tilts her head towards him, as if leaning in for a kiss. I'm an appetite, he tells her. I abhor you, she groans. Wow. Wow. In the HBO TV series The Idol, Depp struggled to imbue the pop star she played with any sign of inner life. Here, she's the best thing about the film. Willem Dafoe, people, amazing actor, and they've just turned around and said that Lily Rose Depp's the fucking best. I highly doubt it even. What the fuck? Apparently she's the best thing about the film, vulnerable but iron-willed. Her intense desire mingled with disgust as she recounts a nightmare about a marriage ceremony to death itself. She ensures Ellen fits of possession are finally calibrated. She's not fucking possessed, she just needs to get her whole. And obviously Orlok is the only person that she can get it from, apparently. So a dead guy can get it up for her and do it for her, but her husband who's alive and kicking cannot. It's disturbing and uncanny rather than straightforwardly pornographic. The way it's fucking be described, it sounds like the toe colour that lasts a couple of seconds and then fucking over with. I'm sorry, but there's nothing pornographic about what the fuck you've just described. Yet, for all its sexual tension, the film ends up feeling oddly cold. Really? It's about a vampire? The baroque displays of passion and extravagant flowing blood usually associated with vampire movies are deployed sparingly. Unlike in Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 awesome version, by the way, not just version of Dracula, which is for better or worse the one imprinted on the critic's mind. I hate it when they say for better or for worse, because I had a fucking conversation with this fucking hoity-toity fucking I'm a thespian, not a thespian fucking guy who's teaching kids to embrace being an actor, but said Dracula was one of the biggest and shittest stories of time. And I swear to God, I had to be held back in a coffee shop from fucking stabbing the prick. Seriously, for saying that. He apparently loves horror, but doesn't like Dracula, doesn't like Bram Stoker, doesn't like that film, and fucking slated it. And I was just like, I've seen some of your productions, I'd rather fucking shit out a pineapple than fucking deal with that. Ugh. And he goes, both necrophilia and the devouring of children are tastefully implied. Again, children are killed in horror movies. It happens. And when they are turned into vampires, they become worse than an adult vampire. In that film, the love story at its heartfelt, real and moving, in spite of its gleefully over-the-top trappings. In Nosferatu, Eggers leans away from, rather than into, anything that might be considered playful, but the deadly serious tone can have the opposite effect. Consider Orlok himself. Skarsgård reportedly trained Icelandic opera singer to lower his vocal range. That's not going to make me like you as a vampire anymore. You were better as a vampire entity in Hemlock Grove. As people seem to forget, he was in Hemlock Grove and he actually has played a vampire, so he should know how to fucking play one. He wanted to create a monster's distinctive gravelly rumble, yet I'm not seeing it. Eggers keeps him in the shadow for the first half of the film because, again, if you remember like a lot of old tales about vampires, it was lingering in the shadows. They even ripped the piss out of it into the fucking shadows. A comedy about vampires on Disney that has the amazing cast that it has. Matt Berry's in it, for fuck's sake, and he plays an excellent vampire. But they ripped the piss of Into the Shadows, and they ripped the piss out of all the movies like behind much portray them. And again, just because he's went for a more darker gothic like aspect, the way they've made it out in the story, it's basically between a girl, her impotent husband, and the fact that she wants to shag a vampire. This is how Eggers has put it. He's not. The bird's eye view money shot, the film's climax, anticlimactic most likely, builds towards, is presented as a mic drop moment, down the toilet most likely, but its sincerity begets a stifled laugh. So that's what they said about the movie, and I'm confused because the way it ended, they said it was a mic drop. I haven't seen the movie yet because, like I said, I'm going to wait till it comes to a streaming service that I already pay for. But has it made you want to go see the film? Has it made you want to watch it? No. Because they've basically put a vampire in there and it's basically a gothic love story that he's tried to make. I'm so angry with the fact that they keep fucking building up these directors and these writers for when they do reboots and they can't keep to the fucking story. They have a really good cast in this, yet the fucking script sounds like shit. They basically have said that they take their version of Mina and chain her to a bed for having sex dreams, which means she may have a high sex drive. Her husband that she's married, that she's not in love with, can't get it up because he's obviously not attracted to her, and apparently would rather go for a 6-week fucking work trip than have sex with his new bride. Ha! Because, yeah, that could mean a lot of things. Was she his beard? Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing you have to fucking think the way they've described this movie. I didn't have high expectations for this film. Haven't seen it yet. And I definitely have even lower expectations than I had when I heard it was being remade. This guy Eggers is obviously paying for articles being made and fucking massage his fucking ego like everybody else does in fucking Hollywood. Let's put articles out there that churn absolute strife shite. Films that we remake because we can't fucking come up with anything ourselves, and even the stuff that we do come up with is boring as fuck. Can you tell I'm having one of those days? I recorded this in a day where, well, shit is going wrong. So you're getting full raw Darcy right now. So yeah. I can't believe that they have described and shown someone who is obviously having vivid dreams, sex dreams by the way, and had to be chained to bed and drugged, to be subservient for everybody else to handle. So they drug you and drug that part of you, so you're subservient to them and you're easy to deal with. And you're more docile, so therefore you do as they fucking say, so you're more likely to do as they say because you can't really say no because they've slowed everything down and you can't even enjoy your life. In the 1800s, especially, you would be known as lots of things. They would tar you as lots and lots of different names that don't fucking describe you the same way they do with mental health back then too. What the fuck has this got to do with Dracula? The fact that she's a high sex drive and her husband can't get it up. For fuck's sake, it's absolutely disgraceful. If that's how it's been portrayed, they're trying to push it over the fact that it needs a fucking Oscar. An Oscar fucking nomination? Oscar nomination for what? Have you seen Nosferatu? Do you enjoy Nosferatu? Do you think I'm losing my shit? Is this another thing that I'm going to lose my shit over? Probably. Sorry. And it is. I'm not even going to say probably. It is. If you've seen Nosferatu, don't give me spoilers, but let me know how you think a portrayal of a woman with high sex drive that has to be drugged and chained to a fucking bed has got anything to do with the fucking story. But hey, I'm Lady Darcy Darkness. If you like content like this, you can check us out on our social media platforms, which are Instagram, YouTube, Buzzsprout, Amazon Music, Spotify, Threads, and X, which I call Twitter. If you want to contact us about anything, any articles, anything you think I may have not heard of or you think I might enjoy hearing and talking about and discussing and ranting and raving about, there's not been much raving, there's more ranting than anything else on this channel because I like to give it to you straight. I like to not fucking fudge things and tell you how I feel and tell you how things aren't supposed to be, put it that way. Isn't that the point of a podcast? You can email us at confessionsfromthedarkside@gmail.com, all lowercase, all one word. I'm Lady Darcy Darkness, and thank you for listening to my rant today. That was Confessions from the Dark Side, Rants from the Other Side, Hot from the Other Side, Cranky Side, I think. Definitely Cranky Side when it comes to remakes and reboots. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm Lady Darcy Darkness. Later.